Guys, we're shooting the FEELWORLD 10.1 inch external monitor today on my channel. And they sent me this monitor. They didn't pay me to do it, so I'm gonna give it an honest review. I'm gonna tell you the things I like about it and I don't like about it. If you are a content creator and you want to make sure that your footage looks good, you definitely want to consider a monitor. I've used this monitor on a few shoots and it's been extremely helpful because it is a 10.1 inch monitor. Y'all know how big 10.1 inches is? It's big, especially for a monitor. If you're used to shooting with the little tiny baby monitors that they give you on your DSLR, this is gonna be a whole new experience. So I use an FX3 to shoot my content. The weakest part on the FX3, honestly, is the monitor. It's small, it's extremely hard to see when you're out in broad daylight. So having an external monitor is kind of a necessity, especially if you're doing high-end professional video shoots. So I want to talk about this T10 by FEELWORLD. So it is an IPS 10.1 inch touchscreen. And the key thing about this LCD screen is it has high color accuracy. So what you see is what you get. And I'm no colorist, but it's really important that what I shoot is actually what I get. I don't want there to be a shift in red, shift in magenta, shift in teal. As a matter of fact, that was a problem with a lot of the older Sony, I think it was the Sony, wait, dude, I literally cannot think of what the Sony is. Anyway, I was using this old Sony and it had like bad magenta teal color shifts. And you know, Sony, not until the FX3 line, in my honest opinion, did they actually nail some of the color space. So when you get a monitor, you want it to look accurate or else your footage is gonna look weird. And the main thing, here's a little secret. If you want your footage to look good or believable, not only do you gotta light it right, but the key is to get the skin tones correct. I know that was a bit of a tangent, but this monitor helps get that color accuracy. Works great, looks accurate. This type of monitor is also good for different viewing angles. They say it's good for 160 degrees. So all that really means is if I step to the left or if I step to the right, the monitor is gonna be accurate. I'm gonna be able to see accurately what I'm shooting. And this can be really important because you're not only shooting straight on, especially if you mount a monitor like this on top of your DSLR, you may not always be at straight on looking at the monitor. So you can view it from different angles and have accurate reproduction of what you're actually shooting. The monitor also has 500 nits of brightness. Now, this is acceptable for shooting outdoors. Now, if you want to shoot outdoors, 500 nits, it's going to be good. It may not be the best. You might want something like 1,000 nits of brightness. But if you're shooting indoors, which is mainly what I do, 500 nits of brightness is a-okay. I find that this monitor is a bit large, okay, if you're going to be mounting it on your camera. It does come with a little attachment here that you can rig it and monitor, put it on a cold shoe and monitor. You can change the angle, see what you're doing. It's big. 10.1 inches is not a small monitor. So I won't be using it to rig on my FX3, but if I'm using it in studio, which is mainly what I do anyway, it's a really big screen to be able to see precisely what I'm doing and capture all those details, especially those details that you might miss if you're on a smaller monitor. And the T10 also has all the features that you'd expect from an external monitor. It has waveforms, you can see scopes, you can see overexposure, grid lines, focus peaking, and it's all really easy to navigate because on this model, it has touchscreen. So on those other models, this is the smaller one, the P6X, I believe. Yeah, the P6X. It's a nice monitor. Only problem is you have to navigate everything with the buttons, not the touch controls. So having touch controls on the T10 it's kind of like a game changer. It's definitely worth the slight upgrade. Now you're gonna get a bigger screen, right? So you got to think about how am I shooting with this screen? Am I just putting it down, locking it down on like a C-stand or something, or am I planning on rigging it on your rig? But the touch controls are so nice because you can fly through the menu super quick. Another feature of this monitor is you can load up to 32 LUTs and run through those LUTs as you're filming to see what different looks would look like on the fly. So if you're doing like a movie set or you want some way of monitoring how it's gonna look maybe on a music video, you can test all the LUTs that you have while you're shooting on set. Now I do wanna talk about one of the drawbacks to me, okay? This is a 60 Hertz monitor. Most of the stuff that I work with, like I'm talking my ROG Ally X, we're talking my monitor, these are at least 120 Hertz monitors. So I'm used to having high frame rates when I'm doing things. So all that really means is that there's this it's not sloshy. The image isn't sloshy. It's nice and crisp. And sometimes when I'm seeing this monitor, I'm seeing movement on the monitor, it looks a little sloshy to me, but that's only because my eyes are used to 120 hertz, 240 hertz monitors, which is mainly for like gaming and things like that. It's just a small little detail. It's something that most people won't even notice if you're using this monitor, and it doesn't affect the output of your image at the end of the day. And it's not something that would deter me from buying the monitor because of the price point. This monitor is only $200. So for what you get it's actually pretty lit. It uses a F970 battery, which is like a Sony battery. It's actually pretty chunky, but I love it because I just slap it on the back and it can power not only the wireless transmitter, that option that the T10 has, but it allows me to move around on my set, right? I don't like to have a traditional plug-in on the monitor, not unless I'm shooting for an extremely long period of time, but I like having the versatility to put a battery on, move the monitor around, shoot something, move it somewhere else, shoot something without a bunch of cords attached to it. And like I said, if you want to transmit, it has an option for that on the back of it. You can get a wireless transmitter and it can transmit up to 4K to the monitor. When it comes to the weight of the monitor, it's made out of aluminum, so it's actually extremely light. And when you're thinking about it, you want to have a light monitor when you're traveling between sets. You don't want to have a big, chunky, heavy monitor that you're lugging around everywhere. So I actually prefer the weight of it. And I don't want to make a super long-winded video about this, but I just want to tell you that it only costs $200. And I spent so many years not having an external monitor because I thought that they were $800, $1,000 when you see other monitors on the market. But this one for $200 and what you get, it's like a no-brainer. I think that every professional needs to have some kind of monitor, and it's helpful for other people on set with you as well. So actually, I can really recommend this monitor. I think it's a great buy for the price point, and you should definitely look into it. I'm gonna put the link to it down in the description box. If you guys got a lot of benefit from this, do not be afraid to like and subscribe. This helps me get into the algorithm, helps boost the channel. We can get a community going here, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.